Highly successful individuals are always focused on what's next, but they often don't take time to reflect on their journey and how far they've come. I'm Craig Heatherly, host of the Path Less Travel podcast, where we dive into the journeys of extraordinary leaders. Their success rarely follows a straight path, and that's what makes their story so remarkable. Now let's dive into this week's episode after a brief message from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Mosier Consulting, the powerhouse behind some of the most innovative technology solutions in northern Indiana. For 30 years, Mosier has been delivering best-in-class solutions. If you're a leader in your company, Mosier is your partner in progress. With deep expertise in analytics, AI, managed services, Microsoft, IT savings, and strategic consulting, they don't just support your tech, they elevate your entire business. Mosier Consulting, technology experts, real results. Visit MosierIT.com to learn more. Looking for top talent in tech or professional fields? Avero Talent connects businesses with exceptional candidates, specializing in tailored recruiting solutions that match the right skills to your team's needs. Whether building a team or searching for a tough-to-fill position, Avero Talent delivers the expertise you need to hire smarter, faster, and with more confidence. Let us help you find your next star employee. Welcome to the Path Less Travel podcast. This week, we featured the CEO of American Technology Components, Todd Yeoman. Todd, welcome to the podcast.
Good morning.
Beautiful morning.
Yes, it is. In a snow globe, yeah.
In a snow globe. I'm excited for the conversation. You gave me the tour of this place, the quick tour, and beautiful facility. Excited to hear more about the history of ATC. But before we do, what I do with every guest is we do a pre-call and we talk about just the setup of the podcast, type of questions, etc. And it was very obvious that we align on a lot of things. And I want to start off this podcast talking about just kind of servant leadership. Clearly in your background, you were a player, coach, teacher. Tell the listeners about just kind of service for you and what that means.
Sure. I think the roots of it start with my parents. Both of them were teachers. My father was a coach. My mom obviously was, whatever we were in, she was our greatest fan. So from that side of it, always being a part of something extracurricular. So whatever we were involved with, my parents were involved. So for me, that helped set the stage for what I wanted to do as well in whatever I was doing. So got to play different athletic sports, of course, with football being my favorite. And then full circle, got to come back and help to coach it. Extraordinary. My father was a position coach of mine as when I played, and then got to coach with him as an associate position coach with him. So a lot of full circle moments with my parents. Again, for me, with growing up in a family of teachers, there's always the lessons, not just in the school, but the life lessons that carry forward. That hit home to me and carries forward to this day. It's not just about the games that we play, but the life lessons that we take with us.
And then you're busy on Sundays as well.
Yeah. So I taught basically a younger age group of 3 to 5 year olds for 15 years. Taught Sunday school.
15 years. 3 to 5 year olds. Wow.
5-year-olds. Love the age. Very impressionable. Just, it's an awesome feeling, right? When the excitement of others because of the experiences you can share and hopefully the helping them see their next steps. I think that's kind of why you do what you do.
Yeah, I've got a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, and I'm currently experiencing just their desire to learn, their curiosity, and the impact that we have on them as parents, but then also their Sunday school teachers, and just what they talk about at home.
Yeah,
it matters, and it's cool to see their growth in that space as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think too, if you look back in your past, of the people in your lives that impacted you in some way. Of course, I brought up my parents, but there are teachers, there are coaches, there are associates that you cross paths with, and I think for a reason, that help to shape your next steps.
Well, I was blown away by the tour that you gave me here. So I want to kind of start to talk a little bit about American Technology Components, its history. What do you guys do here? How has that evolved? And what excites you the most about this time right now for the company?
Okay. So our roots, we were basically two different companies early in the, let's say in the late 80s, early 90s. A company called Advanced Engineering, which was a creation to build assemblies for the van conversion market, which was pretty prominent in that time frame. And across town was another company called American Paneltronics, which again was heavy in the van conversion market, building different accessories. The two eventually came together, and Steve Haynes, being our executive chair, ended up putting those two companies together and then melding the name into American Technology. So our roots go back really to the late 80s in that van conversion timeframe. Mm-hmm. But since then, we've opened our own horizons to look at different industries, different markets. What are the things that we can do as a solution? What are the solutions we can provide elsewhere? Not limiting ourselves to any single widget, but to utilize truly how we do what we do and carry that into different markets. That's really kind of the roots of where we came from. In terms of our space, where we are physically located is on the grounds of what was the original Miles corporate offices. It was important for us to find this space to give back to and get back to the roots of Elkhart, and to be intentional about the space that we build, to not just be another traditional building. We're fortunate to work with extraordinary people, our associates, and to give them a place worthy of the work that they do was purposeful. And so what you'll see as a theme and what you've seen in your walkthrough was we have a lot of glass, we have a lot of art, we have a lot of open space. It is unique, but it's intentional. We have a lot of glass because we want to bring the outside in, so that you're not contained in just this dark space with the hopes of finishing your shift and getting out. Ultimately, it is a space to be welcoming. So when you arrive, you're not begrudged to be here. And when you're here, you're happy that you're here. To make it a great space, we understand that the waking hours that people spend are often greater here than they are at their own homes. So to make it a space worthy of their time. Does that lend to retention? Absolutely. Does it lend itself to attracting new talent? Absolutely. Again, but the purpose is to invest back into our associates.
Success changes the game. Your business is growing. New opportunities, ambitious goals, greater impact. But growth brings complexity. More people to lead, more moving parts, less time and space to think and connect. And when leaders feel that strain, teams do too. At Cressy Leadership, we help leaders navigate those challenges. Through individual coaching, group training, and our Leadership Academy, we build the skills and strengthen the connections that make growth sustainable, helping teams communicate openly, tackle challenges together, and stay aligned on what matters most. Cressy Leadership. Envision what's possible.
Was that the vision as of late? Was it the vision always when we were going to identify a space to build? Was it a part of the company prior? Not the prior company, but earlier on, the vision and the intentionality around your people.
Yeah, you'll often hear me say, and as well as other leaders, that our associates, the people that we work with, are our greatest asset. One of the things we are very intentional about is investing in that asset. Picture yourself at home. If you have something you really wanted to develop, then you're going to spend time, whether that's time or it's money, to make it better. So for us, it is intentional that we embrace the fact that they are our greatest asset, and how can we help them become better, to value themselves even more. So again, when their feet hit the ground every morning, we know that they're leaving the place they go to work for. They go to work, but they come back, they're earning a wage to make their life better wherever they came from. So if we can enhance their value wherever they are, they're going to be a better person, a better individual, a more valuable person walking in the door every day. So that is the intent of our purpose. Our vision truly is it is to grow. But it's not just around the financial metrics. It's not just about the achievements that we make to our bottom line. It is to grow both personally and professionally, to start with the individual in the mirror. With me, I want to be better tomorrow than I am today. And if I walk that walk with every individual on our floor and I challenge them in the same way, that's what we ask. That's our purpose, to be more impactful with the individuals we see and meet.
Yeah, I want to ask you about some of the collaboration spaces, the overall environment here to allow people to connect, to experience more than just punching in, punching out, but experience kind of a culture that puts people first. The space is incredible. Talk a little bit more about the vision around some of the spaces here.
So one of the themes you'll hear is intentional and purposeful. So within our office space, you'll find a lot of collaboration spaces. Sorry, the word keeps coming out. Not just the traditional conference room, but open spaces for conversations to happen outside of the office. We are a team-based, a team-centered company. So collaboration is a key. Characteristically, individuals can come up with great ideas, but sounding boards often can help solidify or even redirect what that thing becomes. So collaboration, not just confined also to this space, but also to with our customers. We found success in that we know that we're on a mission together. If we truly want to identify a solution collectively, then collaboration is the key. So give space for that to happen.
Well, what excites you about what's next here? What is next?
So growth, that's the beauty. So I'm one of those guys that I look forward to every day. It's exciting. And is the space a part of that? Absolutely. The people, though, are truly a part of that. Where we're going, we have a culture that's extraordinary. Literally, we embrace 3 pillars. It's about the people, and you've heard me talk about that. They're extraordinary, and I'm blessed every day to be able to work with them. And then it's about our customers. We take great care of our customers and want to work with them in their success. And if we take care of the individuals we work with every day and we take care of our customers, then we can take care of our community. So I am excited about where we are going as a company, but not just for those financial metrics that we're trying to attain and achieve, but about the growth that we're making together and seeing it happen every day. We have really 4 areas of focus within our company. And it's what we're trying to improve. We're literally push the chips in every day to how do I commit to get better every day? And the first thing is, how can I be a better communicator? And it's not just my verbal, it's how well I listen, how empathetic can I be to understand what's going on. So communication is important. Truly to embrace change, to continually improve that. What we did yesterday may have worked well, but is there something we could do differently to make it better tomorrow? So to embrace continual improvement, to be creative, not just in the things that we make, but in the ideas that we generate to help us change, to help us communicate better. And the final piece in all of that is to be united, to come together as a company, again, all of us, not just Todd pushing his chips in the middle of the table, but everybody around the table pushing their chips in as well.
So it starts with communication.
It does.
And it's got to be top, down, up, left to right. It's got to be across the board. When we think about the importance of communication and effective communication, from the seat that you sit in, what are some things that you're intentional about to make sure you are communicating to your team?
If it is my message, obviously I will share my message, but I want to make sure that I share it everywhere. I think wisely A message is not just for me. I have this message. I'm going to go out and send it. I want to go and understand the way in which it's going to be received. So to understand, there's a difference between me talking with Craig today and me talking with somebody else. Everybody's different. Everybody's unique. What's the best way for them to receive it? Is it by the verbal, or is it by them seeing me do it? So I'm a firm believer in walk the walk. So you'll see me every day in all areas of our company. So communication to me is verbal, nonverbal. It is listening. It is understanding who I'm speaking with. But I think importantly, going back to listening, my message is often learned from what I gain from others within our building, within the information I receive from a podcast, within information that I receive from a book read, and how can I apply that to be successful? Listening is important. Being empathetic to the audience that's in front of me and the message I want to carry.
And you can't do that just from being in your office. You've got to be around people, right? To be able to listen, to understand, to have empathy, to identify, is this the best way to communicate this message? Are they receiving this well? How is this being perceived? Like, you just can't be in the office. And that's what I asked one of your teammates a question. I just asked, what's unique about his leadership? And he said, Todd truly cares for everyone. This is Jordan, by the way. Todd truly cares for everyone at our company. It takes time to get to know each and every person. He spends the start of most mornings taking the time to go around and talk to everyone. No one thing is too small for him. I've witnessed him out in the parking lot cleaning off cars for people before they go home. So to be an effective communicator, you've got to know your people. You got to have the pulse on the company, and clearly you do some things intentionally to do that.
Yeah, I think there's some of the things that you do, though, are just because it's the right thing to do, right? So is there intention and purpose to some things? Yes, but to other things, it's because it's the right thing to do. Cleaning off cars. I mean, if someone doesn't have to bundle up and go out and do that, I'm already out there doing it anyway. Why not? Do something. If you would appreciate it, why not do it yourself? So.
Yeah. Well, the title of the podcast is The Path Less Traveled. When you think about your leadership journey, how do you relate?
I think I was blessed, and this is what's unique, that with extraordinary parents, in terms of the path that they set for us as with my brothers and I, extraordinary leaders, and in the house, not just at work. So for me, leadership, I think, starts there. I'm a co-leader with my wife and our kids. So in the path, I was unique in that my parents were teachers. My brothers are teachers. I kind of broke that mold and wanted to pursue something in business with the opportunity of, when you're young, it's, the riches you can achieve. Of course, I think maturity teaches us that the riches are extraordinary with the individuals you can impact. And I was really fortunate in that I still had the opportunity to coach high school football and be impactful in that way as my brothers and my father were, but also in business life to create a journey that puts me in front of a lot of individuals to try and make something of myself for them and then something better for them because we cross paths. So when you're put in circumstance and situation, I'm opening myself up to being in more places. There's busyness to it, but the grand thing is, if it's time well spent, it's all for the right reason.
So we touched on communication. You touched on continuous improvement. And I want to tie that into this question as we pull on this thread a little bit more and unpack this. Continuous improvement for you. To be better tomorrow than you are today, what are some things that you do to take that next jump in your leadership journey, impactful journey, however you want to describe the journey? What are some things that you do?
I think there has to be a humility, right? That you can be as confident as all get out, and you can be as forward as all get out. But I think there has to be a humility to understand that I don't have all the answers. And I know I don't. So I challenge myself, who's that guy you see in the mirror, that if you want to be better tomorrow, what can I plug into? And I shared this before, that a podcast. Then there's different individuals that I like to listen to. Books. I'm a pretty avid reader. And I'm more of one of those guys that more of a parable type story. I think that there's opportunity in so many things, meeting individuals, different people that I know, but also people that I just meet. I think if you're open to learning, and I'm a person of faith, I think God puts you in a place to receive, not just to impact, but to be open to either one. You have these opportunities, these moments in time where you get tapped on the shoulder. And hopefully, I think maturity leads you to acknowledging that, these taps on the shoulder where, hey, that was profound. That's a kick in your butt that you need to alter course. Or that was exciting. I liked how that was impactful to someone. Openness to know that I don't have all the answers, that I can seek outside with individuals, with books, with podcasts, with whatever format to try and make myself better.
Yeah, it's actually a prayer that I have each morning, and it's God, let me not miss a God moment here.
Awesome.
Which requires me to be in the moment and to be present. And I think that's one of the things I admire about you, just in our short time of getting to know one another, is that you are present. And you make the individual feel like it's just you and them. Where does that come from? Because it's kind of like a superpower.
I think I care, number one, about the moment that I'm in. And I care about the individual because of what they're sharing, not what I can give, but what I hear them say. So genuinely, it's that. I mean, I love this just conversation, whether there's mics or not. I enjoy the conversation. That to hear someone else that is, when we were having our prior conversation about you and your experiences with your family. I mean, that it brings me back to a moment in my time where I just loved it, and I could hear it in your voice, what you appreciate about it and truly embrace. And in your path where your presence, your physical presence forces you to be present is awesome. So again, these tap on the shoulder moments, you are put in a place for a reason in a moment in time, but to be open to them.
Well, this continuous improvement journey that you've been on, you mentioned books, you mentioned podcasts. Has it always been that way for you?
No, I think that there's always the moments of stubbornness.
Yeah.
Where you think you've got it figured out. And I think there are obstacles that present themselves that force you to stop and think. Again, it's those tap on the shoulder moments, right? Yeah, I think maturity kind of lends itself to that when you're young, you think you have all the answers. And I think the openness, depending on the individual, at least for me, when I was younger, I thought that I had quite a few answers. And I think in time, I learned to appreciate the fact that I didn't. And so it helped me to continue to seek.
Any obstacles come to mind? Any valleys that, required you to maybe seek wise counsel, and it was a moment in time that you can point back to that required a lot of growth on my end. Any situations come to mind?
I'm going to give you a couple of examples, okay? I think from a business perspective, for those of us that have experienced, whether it's a recession of any extraordinary measure, and when tough decisions have to be made, that it causes you to reflect and then to look forward. Where do we go? What's the next best step forward? So experiences like that, where it's, financial things that occur in a business life. From a personal side, I'm not going to go too deep, but there have been moments where I discovered that the path that I'm on, that for whatever I think I'm doing the right thing, going in the right direction, but it's mine. And I discover, based on a stumble, based on a fall, that in this time, I know that God is with me, but I'm actually walking away from him. And when I turn back to face him, I understand what I was doing wrong. It's that train ride, right? When you're on a train, you think you're going the right direction, then you realize that you're not. You have the choice to get off the next stop or keep going in the wrong direction. So, yeah, absolutely, there's been redirects in my life. Close friend Brian Weisreber, he and I have talked about this, and it's not an exact comparative, but picture the prodigal. I'm not a prodigal son, but picture the prodigal goes away thinking they've got their own thing worked out, but coming back to admittance to say I was wrong. Many moments in my life have been exactly that, where I'm going in the wrong direction. And then thankfully, finally, that tap on the shoulder makes me turn. So blessed.
Yeah, and I think about this often, this idea of having truth tellers in your life. They're gonna give it and give it regularly. Noticers, people that just notice, hey, something's off here with you. What's going on here? As you've been in those moments, who are some truth tellers? Is it noticers that come to mind that help kind of maybe course correct? Is it who you surround yourself with? I guess, how have you kind of pulled yourself out of these moments or valleys or just ruts? What's that look like? Because I think we all need them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people would be surprised in that in moments, are you choosing to listen or not?
Right. Yeah.
Because I think the hints, the taps are there. I think there has to be a readiness. So I'm really fortunate that the people that I've had around me ask often. If they see something going awry, they ask the question. And my wife I love her. She's my best friend, and she'll let me know if things are off course. So I think friends, relationships of any kind can be a great redirect, but I think the best place to start is in the mirror.
That's great. Yeah.
You know what? You can challenge yourself to be something better, but truly listening to yourself when you're having that conversation. And I think you can reflect right away and know of yourself if you are or you're not.
A big thank you to Senior One Care for sponsoring today's episode. Founded in 2006 by Carl and Kyle Bossing, this family-owned business has provided compassionate in-home care for nearly 2 decades. If my family needed a caregiver, I'd call Kyle. With 6 Indiana locations, they give you the peace of mind while your loved ones receive the care they deserve. Learn more at senioronecare.com. What's the hardest part of leading? You've been coaching teams for a long time. You've been leading people for a long time. I mean, in a CEO, president role for a couple decades. It's the hardest part of leading. And the hardest part of leading maybe for you.
Honestly, I enjoy it. In terms of the hardest, there's going to be rough days. No matter what, there's going to be a rough patch here or there. It could be based on an individual. It could be based on a circumstance that relative to work. But no matter what, it's how you respond to things. So there's got to be resiliency to whatever obstacle there is. I think I just love being in the position that I'm in, to still try and grow into it, to be better again. So no, I don't begrudge any part of it. I love it.
Well, as you look at a young leader, maybe a young Todd, what advice would you give to a younger you or somebody that's stepping into a leadership role relatively younger in their professional career? What advice would you give to that individual, or that maybe you wish you would have received?
I think the blessing that maturity taught was where you think you have the answers. And that's awesome, to be confident and to have a passion about what you want to be and what you want to accomplish. That is awesome, to be driven, but to be open. I think this is the best thing, that wherever you're put, there's an opportunity to gain something from it. So to be present, not to be always that futuristic person. I think that to me is the advice that I would give to myself, to be present. I mean, literally embrace the moments and celebrate, because oftentimes we put our head down and just keep going as the achievements happen. Kudos, check a box and keep going. Is the achievement worthy of just a box being checked, or truly worth an embrace with the potential of momentum that can be built from that celebration? So yeah, that would be what I would tell myself.
Achievements. As a volunteer football coach, just knowing Penn football, I was a Mishawaka guy. There was a lot of achievements that you guys had, especially during my time when I was just a young lad. Achievements here. I think about this incredible facility. I think about the 170 plus employees that you have working for you. Before we went on air, you talked about the closest of your family. As you think about just kind of the thing that one of the things you're most proud of, when you look back on all those items and all the things that you're doing today and where God has you, what are you most proud of?
Family is all there. My family is extraordinary, and I'm so blessed. Love every moment, every bit. As it grows, becoming a grandparent, transitioning from parenthood to grandparenthood, this phase of life that we're in is amazing. Friends, the friendships that you have and the friendships that you make over time and each day. I love that part of it. The impact that you can make on any individual that you meet. Beauty of a setting like this, if I walk out on a production floor, have a chance to do something impactful to an individual. But at the core of it all, I'm very strong in faith. And because of the relationship that is demonstrated however many times in the Bible, truly embrace the love that I have for my family. It's the root of my positivity. It is the root of why I put my feet on the ground. It is the root of what I want to accomplish. Yeah, family.
Well, I've got one final question for you, and then we'll start to wrap this thing up to get your final thoughts. Just getting some feedback from one of your teammates of the intentionality that you have with people, and hearing you speak about it mattering to you, relationships mattering to you. You've been kind. You're a kind individual. What's one of the kindest things somebody's done for you?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. I don't know. I'm a great giver, not the... I think this is deep, but blessings are extraordinary. So in kindness, a blessing given, I said the thing that what drives me, or what do I love the most, and that being family, and the gift of family is extraordinary. So that inclusiveness, that extraordinary relationship that we have, to me is the best gift I could ask for. In terms of kindness, it's pretty hard to say someone gave me this.
Yeah. It's a beautiful answer, because it is. Most mornings I wake up, and part of that prayer that I mentioned is just thank you for this gift that you've given me, this bride, these kiddos. Yeah. Let's just start there.
Yeah.
Because it is a blessing. Yeah.
It is a perspective.
As we close out, I guess I want to just provide the opportunity for you to talk about any final thoughts you'd have. It could be about what's happening here. It could be about leadership. It could be about continuous improvement. It could be about anything. Feel free to just close us out with maybe anything that's on your mind as you thought about preparing for a podcast. But yeah, whatever you want to leave listeners with, go ahead.
Wow. The cool thing about this, and when we had our conversation prep, was getting to meet you, and it was the conversation that we had. I think for me, it's looking forward to future conversations, not just as a result of us coming together in this moment, but future. To me, it's something that I've already said that I think is important, that we're put in a place in time with an opportunity to be impacted or to be impactful. That would be, I guess, my challenge based on our conversation, me just talking with you, where I challenge myself and I challenge you that wherever you are, to be present. And that's the cool thing that you pray about every day, which is awesome. But to not just be present, to be more. That what your kiddos depend on, what your wife depends on, is your physical presence, you being engaged and being involved. But think of what can happen if the urgency of the passion, the full committedness of whatever, if your intention is not just to be present, but to be impactful or to be prepared to be impacted by. Put yourself in the right place, but then do something about it, I think is really what I look at myself every day, and that's my self-kick in the ass to make it better.
I love it. And I actually changed the background on my phone to be a lion, right? And I think it requires us to be bold and courageous in settings. Yeah. To say what's on your mind in a respectful way, but to speak up and to take advantage of the opportunity at hand to have impact or be impacted. You can't be passive.
No.
But when you lean in, great things can happen. Lives can be changed.
Yeah. I think there's a right time in being passive when you listen to become informed, so that when you make that step, it comes from a place, not just a passion, but there's a level of intelligence that comes with it. You demonstrate humility, you demonstrate empathy by truly listening and understanding. But then when you take that step of purpose, that there is an intent for me to be impactful in a positive way. The presence in front of your kids is extraordinary, physically being there. But you being there and doing something with them, that's the impact.
Well, I want to thank you for doing this.
Oh,
this is a great conversation.
Thank you.
And I'm happy that listeners and others are going to be able to kind of get a glimpse into you on a personal level, because people matter to you, impact matters to you, and the gifts that you're given and what you're blessed with, you don't take for granted. And it's a great lesson to learn from. So thank you again for doing this.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of the Path Less Traveled podcast. Until next week, have a great day.